Hello everybody, Vicky here. The noise that you can hear is the fan and the aircon going. Welcome to Australian summer. We had a doozy today. I'm sure they're going to get worse, but we have had, I think, personally, one of the easiest, mildest springs that we've had for quite a while. I really do, so we've been really lucky. So here comes summer first tomorrow, so we can't complain. So that out of the way, I hope everybody's well. And I've got Hope in front of me here, and we're going to do another couple of fixed things in her. We're closing in on the amount of fixed pieces that we're going to put in, and then we'll go to clipping. So I'm doing a pocket, sorry. I've cut this 5.5 by 3 3/4. Now when I lay it down on the page, you can see that I've got room on either side. Now it took a little bit for me to be able to cope with that originally. The reason why it's short of the edge here is to give it balance, because it's short into the fold here. Now as we fill our journals, and we do end up with really quite full journals by the time we're finished, and we keep adding, you can see, I don't know if you're not going to be able to pick it up, I don't know, but the roll of the pages, so it's anchored in the middle, and then as we go out page towards the front, this roll of pages becomes thicker and thicker. So my idea is that even though it doesn't go from side to side, which would make me happier, make my eye happier, is to keep anything we add away from that fold. So we've got a lovely little space there. So this journal has to get that thick before this is going to be a problem, and by the time, if it gets thicker than that, this pocket won't be its problem. So that's why I do anything that goes into the center of the journal a little bit out. So like I said, I'm going to do a window pocket, which I really like. Windows have been a favorite of mine for a long time now, and when I first started, I used to do it with a blade and a ruler, and it used to frustrate me because just a little bit would be out, or I'd have to stick like a cluster on it because I couldn't get it to make me happy. So I got one of these. It's a Weir Memory Keepers frame punch board, and it really is a handy piece of kit. I haven't used it enough, and I haven't sort of played around with it to see whether or not it could do anything else. I've just used it to make the window frames. So how it works is on this side, this is a punch, and on these, everywhere you see these holes, there's an increment in measurement. So we start off at 0.25, 0.5, 0.75, and there's 5 different sizes, and however thick you want your, as in this, however thick you want your frame to be is governed by where you put these holes. So if I was to put them down here, you would have a very, very thin frame. I'd say I'd be lucky to be 1/4 inch thick. So depending on what you want, you keep bouncing this up. You don't bounce it, but you keep putting this up until you get the width of the frame that you want. So I'm just checking. So mine's gone into 0.75. Now these two have to be the same. If that's 0.75, that has to be 0.75. Now this same rule applies to this over here. If you've got this bar at 0.75, it is to go into 0.75, and obviously the same applies to no matter which side. It's got a little cutter here, and that goes in there, be careful, it is very, very sharp. Now, to get the shape that we want, the frame that we want, as you can see, it's a while since I've used it, so I practiced on a piece of paper. And I think it's always a good idea, if you haven't used a piece of kit for a while, or it's new, or you're not quite sure, 2 minutes with a piece of paper that doesn't count for anything is well spent. So we go around here and we punch all 4 sides. So the reason why we do this is because we then go over to here and we push our frame up against that line there, and then we pop our little cutter in, and then what we do is so that I don't put my head in the way, we just scoot along, and if you go very slowly, you don't have to see it, you can feel it, because you can feel whether or not the cutter is cutting the paper or whether or not it's not cutting. You can actually sense that. So I like to see it personally, but like as I go along, you might be able to pick it. You can hear it stop, and you need to press that in there all the time, which is something that I forget to sometimes. So then we just go along here and we'll go back up there. So it's really, really easy once you get into the swing of it, and like I said, you can feel when the cutter's under stress, or whether it's just cutting fresh air, and it stops. So that saves you. So all those notches we cut out there, that saves us. that's a technical off there. It stops that blade from going off and cutting through our frame. Now I'm thinking I get these little notch things here from where I cut out the frame, cut around the frame. I think it's because I think I'm getting that. Just a minute, by the time I ink it, no one's going to be any the wiser. I think that little sort of inconsistency is happening because it's moving a little bit off here. So that's just pushing it in. We have to hold it in. And I think if you get a little bit wobbly while you're hanging on to it, that's what happens. Now we've got this piece that we're left to, but you could either leave it like that. I mean, that just makes an awesome book plate, but I personally prefer to cut the ends off it like that. To me, it just looks more balanced, it just looks right. But either or, it doesn't matter, it's just opinion. Then we have a book plate. It can be a little funky tag, a journaling card. It's not waste. That's the thing that I'm trying to say. Wow, right down to business today, aren't I? So I'm just going to ink around this. Okay, so I've just cut a little piece of acetate. We've got our frame all nicely inked, so we'll turn it over. Now the thing with this is just cut it bigger or cut it away from your edge, because you don't want the glue to seep out onto the frame itself and onto the acetate, because that's just a nuisance to try and get rid of. So if we put it about here, so like averaging about where it would be. Now I do want it, I'll probably put it a little bit higher than what it needs to be there, but I want to make sure that the glue grabs right to the edge on the top and bottom, because if it doesn't, when you're putting something into the pocket, it could foul it up at the top or the bottom. So now I've done that. It actually takes longer to decorate these than it does to make them. As I was saying, it's just got some easy, lighter things to do in this session. Getting close to having as many fixed things in the journal now, because eventually this will go to somebody else. They will have their own things to add, so that if I put too many things in here that make it difficult for them to add, because I've already bulked it out, they can take some of the things that are clipped into it. Now that to me just looks absolutely beautiful. Now what I have done in the past, I'm wondering whether I'll do it now. When we've got the tag in there, everything looks all nice and pretty and you can see it and all the rest of it, but when you take it out, it's just a bit drab. So what I have done before, and this is paper, so it's not going to add anything really in bulk, so that now the tag's out of it, instead of it looking just awfully bare, we've got that underneath it, and by the time we put a journaling card and a tag in, that'll fill that window up. When you pull them out, you'll have something pretty to look at. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that it's smaller than the frame, so I'll mark it off. So I'm just going to get it straight and I move it, so I'm just going to just mark it just to give me an approximate where the glue is going to go. I don't want glue absolutely everywhere. And so now that we've got that there, which looks a bit funny, granted, we'll put that there. So when we put a tag of some description in there, a couple of tags, you're not going to see it. So I'm really quite pleased with that. So there is our window pocket done. I was just debating about whether or not I'd put a thumb hole, but we'll be pulling things up from it, so I might just leave well enough alone. So now what we want to do is just glue it into our journals. Go. We'll pop that down on there. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether you've got it exactly even. It just matters that you've got everything straight. So there we have it. A very quick, easy little pocket with a window in it. It looks so lovely, and it's got layers on it because, like I said, you put your tags and that in there, this disappears, and then when you take them out you've got that to look at. So I'm quite pleased with that. Just making sure that sticks, I've got no overflow. So there we go, one done, one to go. So we'll go up here. I do need to have a good look before we get too many in here to stop. That, okay, it's that. So corresponding page is this one. Now I've got these birds, the Toppers collection they're called, and they're 150 weight. So I decided that one of those would just make, I'll sit that there for anybody who's interested while I flip through and see which one I think. You can see they're just absolutely beautiful, and I thought that they would make a beautiful pocket, since we're talking about spring. A couple, there must be just a couple of pictures that they've put in there, because no, okay, I thought they were quite sturdy, but I must be thinking of something else. I thought I had postcards that they were really strong, but that's not a problem. These won't work as a pocket on their own, but that is hardly a challenge for us, is it? See, that one looks very nice there. Okay, I'll fast forward this while I make a decision. See, if you're having trouble deciding on something and you've got a few that you're trying to match, if you're having trouble with it, turn it upside down. Have a look at it upside down, and it gives you, I felt that I hung on to this one because of this green is like this here, and it's got more matches. But because there was a couple of others I liked, and turning it upside down, you know, looking at the colours and not the picture, I find that that helps me when I can't decide sometimes. I don't know whether or not it's something you think would be beneficial to you, but it's the way I like to do it. So because I've got a picture here, I don't want to take all off one side. I don't want to throw the balance of it out, the balance of the picture, the painting out. So I'm going to take just a little from both sides, and I might have to do a couple of cuts, but that's okay, because that painting's been put on there where it is and it looks so lovely. It's because there's a real balance to it. You should see how close it's getting to that tail now. So I've been able to take a little bit off there and a little bit off there, and that is my pocket. Now the other thing I'll do is, just because it's just a little bit too deep for me, I'm going to lose a little bit of this lovely paint fleck, but I'm going to cut it so 3 3/4. So you'd laugh at me if I said that was worth keeping, because it's got those splatters on it, and some of you will just roll your eyes and think I'm beyond help, and others will understand. So that is my, which I think should be the same, and it doesn't have to, it's just what pleases me. It's just something that I would pick up as I was going through. Then, oh, you've got two pockets, why is one wider than or bigger than the other? It's like, it's left brain, right brain thing. So what I'm going to do with this is because this is a shiny paper and there's not much strength in it, I'm going to put it on a piece of manila folder, and because I don't know how this paper is going to react when it's glued, I'm going to play it safe and I'm going to use a glue stick. But you can tell they're mine. They've got ink on them. What am I using? Vintage photo ink on them. So, fortunately they're machine washable. We just So while we're just waiting for that gold to dry, I have made a decision on the folio that we made. Remember? We made a folio and I said I couldn't decide on whether or not I was going to glue it in or if I was going to pin it in. Well, it turns out that it's quite, as we knew it would be, it's quite heavy, and the paper clips just aren't cutting it to be able to keep it in there. So my thing with that is just be careful. If you've got one or two heavier, thicker things that you're putting into your journal, well, if you've got things that you're putting into your journal, limit your thicker ones to one or two, and have the don't have everything in your journal as heavy and as thick as what this is. Otherwise you're going to be in all sorts of trouble. So what I'm doing now is, with a very unsteady hand, I don't know what's going on here, I'm going to turn this into a tag, a pocket for a tag. I'm not doing a very good job of this. By not doing a very good job of it, what it will mean is that you just have to be mindful of where you take your measurements for your tag. You need to pop a piece of paper or cardstock in there just to see how much room has been used up with the glue, because I'm a bit higgledy-piggledy. So now I've decided that I will put it on this pink page because I think it highlights that paper beautifully. and it is a very pink page and doesn't lose anything by covering most of it up. There we go, it's in. And like I was saying, I didn't know what I was going to do with the closing of this. This has already started to close over and stay down with the weight of the journal. It's just been sitting off to the side a little bit, and it's got that. Just going to flip through to the center just to see how we're going. So that's our pocket there. And how quick and easy is it just to get two pockets that look really, really lovely? Well, I think they look really lovely. I think my problem is I'm used to having everything right up underneath my chin, and I'm trying to remember that you would actually like to see what I'm doing if you're watching the video. I thought it would be helpful. So now we've got that one down. And I've got, oops. So that's two quick tags done and dusted. So okay, while I was gone, I did two corner side pockets. Sorry, this is 49, the 49 and market pack that I've been using, and it's sort of like the bonus piece. It's on the back of the front cover. So I'm doing a couple of side tucks. I do believe that's what I was trying to say and couldn't get out before. Sorry. I guess we can tell that I'm starting to get a little bit tired. Speech tends to go first in this house. So I've got one tuck in place. I think what I might start doing next time we bring Hope out, I think we might start making ephemera, so that I had this little piece under there because it's getting a little bit full and irregular. So when I've got a little bit of an even surface, it's easier just to push the glue down, the tuck down, so that the glue will go off. I find that helps a bit, because sometimes it gets a little bit uneven from pages before, the pages that we've done before, and just having a little solid ledge helps, because this is thick paper, and which just means you have to take the time for the glue to set or to go off, or however you want to put that, whichever pleases you the best. So now we've got our side cuts in place. So today we have done, we'll have a look at what we've done. I would have liked to have done a bit more, but I'm not sure. We'll see how we go. Put it up the right way. And we've got our window pocket done, ready for some tags and journaling cards or whatever takes our fancy. We've done a side tuck. We did a side tuck up here. Oh no, we did a pocket, another pocket. So these are all quick, easy ways to give us space to tuck. And we did do 2 side tucks, didn't we? Yeah, there it is. I'm not going crazy. So we've got that, the 2 side tucks, the 2 pockets, and we've got that glued in. So what am I thinking? I've been unsure about that, whether to cover it up or not, but you know what, I'm more and more inclined to leave. So I like these 2, but I'm unsure about those, so we might do a little bit of patchwork on that. We'll wait and see. There's something to do with the tag yet. So with the back of this bag, because it's got a collage on the front, so we don't really need anything on the back. But what I was thinking was I do this in my other journals, is to glue a piece of paper onto it and then have it as fold out journal spot. So if we fold that down there like that, so rather than putting another fold in it, I'm just going to slice that a little bit off with the trimmer, because I've just been a little bit inaccurate with my fold. So it's either cut a little bit off or I have 2 folds in the paper. Maybe I should have got the fold right in the first place and we wouldn't have had to have done this. I think I know. I'll put the fold there. And if I take that back that way, so we've got it to fold there. I'm not too close in there. I will ink along there, I think. So we'll put that one there, we'll glue the back one on, and then we will just pull that out like that, and then you'll have that there as well to journal on. So I quite like that. So that's not going to cause any bulk. So what I need to do is, this is definitely going to be the last thing we do tonight, otherwise it'll be, I'll just do another thing. I got a bit carried away. I decorated the bit that I'm going to stick down. Now once again, because this is just thin copy paper, I'm going to use the stick glue. I find that thinner paper doesn't tend to warp when using the stick glue as it does with the wetter ones. Not always the case though. I just get in such a mess when I use this, that's all. I just honestly just, it's not in my DNA to be able to use stick glue without making a mess. Must be some sort of training course you have to go on. Instead of doing basket weaving 101, I think I'll do glue stick application 101. Might get somewhere. What do you think? Now you know I'm tired. My brain does crazy things. Thinks of really ridiculous things when I get tired. It can be quite amusing sometimes, but sometimes it's just like too weird. So I've given myself plenty of space on this, the back of the bag, and this is one of the reasons why I think I prefer stick glue, although this has given me plenty of wriggle worm. Wriggle worm to anybody else who wants to know what I'm going on about. So there we have it. So on that page we've got a bag that's been over decorated. Not much I can do about it now. It's not, I'm not particularly happy with what's happened here, but I think I'll destroy the bag, so I'm just going to leave it. Now this here, instead of just the black back being blank, because remember we've got a pocket to put something in, I think I'll put sheets of paper, and that way this can be written on. So you've got all this to write on here, and then you've got that there as well as journaling room. So we did, like, we didn't do anything that was particularly arduous or in depth tonight, but we got 2 pockets, 2 side tucks, and a journaling page put in. So I'm really happy with that tonight, and I'm just really just want to start making ephemera. So I think what we'll do is do the ephemera for the pockets and the tucks and everything that we've done. Then we'll know how much space we've got left for all our add-in stuff, or if we do need to add any extra. But we will find out. And I've still got this here for the front pocket that's going to go down on the calico inside. I don't want to really cover all that up because I think it looks really good. So yeah, there you are. Thank you ever so much for watching my video and staying all the way to the end. It is truly appreciated. I hope that you have enjoyed, and or I've given you a few ideas, extra ideas, or just encouraging you to start to do a journal, because this isn't complicated. It's only one signature. It's just, it's uncomplicated, but it is really, I think, uncomplicated and easy is where you find the beauty, and it's where you hear the best when it's quiet. I know that sounds silly, but think about it. So on that note of sidetrack that I continually go on, thank you very much. Please remember, be kind to you and be kind to the person standing next to you. Until next time, bye for now.